Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's theRealKaaayle here. Let me zoom in a little bit more so y'all can see. So y'all can really just see it. Let me just make sure it looks alright on OBS. It looks pretty good. Let me just zoom in a little bit. Close this ad real quick. What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today? We're going to be doing our tier list on MK11 post-aftermath patch. It's been a while. Aftermath came out at the end of May. It is the beginning of September now. I don't know when this video is gonna go up, but yeah, this is gonna be my tier list. So you guys know me. I play online. So this playlist is going to. I said playlist. Tier list is gonna be mostly focusing on online, but also overall like tournaments as well. I've watched a couple pro players play. I don't really watch them too much right now because there's not too many tournaments. I'm not really into this online tournament stuff, anyways, but. Yeah, it's my opinion. Tier list is really somebody else's opinion. So I think there's going to be a lot of discrepancies and a lot of people disagreeing. But I think there's going to be quite a few people that will agree as well. But in addition to that, just a few disclaimers for this tier list. I think everybody in this game is viable. Every single character in this game is viable in this game. I don't think there's a character that's not playable at all. You just need to work harder with some other characters. As you can see, the way I have my tiers set up, oops, hold on, let me change this really quick. It's literally S minus, A plus, A. S being the best, A being the worst, but A on a tier list or in other fighting games is like really good. Like A means that you're still good, but you just need to work harder compared to the other characters. I think this game is very, very balanced right now. And last thing, I'm not putting this in order. I've really sat here trying to think about who beats who, like in terms of just order, like ordering it from top to bottom. It's not going to be ordered. I'm letting you know right now, this tier list is not going to be ordered at all. I might shuffle things around. I might just go character by character and put them based on where they are, but I'm not putting this thing in order. I think it's way too difficult, and it's just too much of a headache. But this video is going to be quite long, so sit back, relax. I just want to hear your guys' opinions in the comment section after this as well. Let me just make sure OBS is recording one more time. Here we go. All right, it's recording. Let's do this. So we're just going to start with the best character in the game because it's the easiest. So Jackie is the best character in the game, free. There's no debate. Anybody who tries to deny this is a clown, really. You just, no. Nobody should be downplaying Jackie. She is number one. All three of her variations are amazing. Next gen is the worst one. Next gen is still strong. I really do think this character would still beat S even without upgraded. First round KO is deadly. It's not the best, but upgraded, she's playing an entirely different game. At this point, she really just needs a nerf just so people could just shut up about her. Like it's clip. Like this character is OD. So next, I'm gonna go with the worst. I'm gonna put the worst right now. I think the worst character in MK11 right now, in my opinion, I think it's Robocop. I feel like Robocop is just unfinished. This character is really unfinished. Like, he's a straight up zoning character. That's his strength. But there are so many better characters that zone. If you want to zone in MK11, there's so many other choices. In addition to that, zoning in MK11 is not just projectile, which I kind of feel like Robocop ultimately is. What makes zoning so strong in this game is the threat of other moves. So like the threat of a fast mid, the threat of a jump kick, the threat of the strike throw game, plus frames. Robocop, his buttons don't allow him to do that. His buttons are just very basic. They don't lead into anything. Has like no combo damage. A lot of his projectiles are highs too. They're not like non-traditional zoning projectiles like how Shang Tsung has his corpse drop, or Garrus has like his sand clone, stuff like that. So I don't think his zoning is even that scary. Unless it could be really annoying. Don't get me wrong, you could still lose to Robocop, but when you get in on him, what do you really have to be afraid of? His 10 frame mid that has like barely any range. He's probably gonna throw you. His combo launchers, his forward 4-2 and I think it's forward 2, they're both highs. Like it's like a mid high. Just there's no point at all even going for that, because you could just neutral duck it, or even characters with low hitboxes could just naturally whiff it. And yeah, you can't even get a launcher on him. And if you do get launched on him, what damage is he really doing? He's probably doing like low 20%. So I think he's the worst character in the game right now. So let's just continue. Let's just go character by character now. So Baraka is just solid. He's just solid. So he's A+. He's not top of A+. Like I said, this tier list is not going to be in order. But he's just a really solid character. Marauder, I think, is still his best variation. One of the highest damaging characters in the game. Probably the highest still. Really just a jack of all trades, master none though. His projectile is really solid. His back 3 is really solid. His forward 4 is really good. He has some flawless block gaps. I think in the variation where he has the I think it's called Bone Picker, the one where he has the command grab, that could, with his forward 2 string that allows him to be plus, definitely can create some decent mind games with that. So he's just a very solid character. I don't think anybody complains when they fight a Baraka. Also, his down 2 is godlike. So yeah, he's just a very solid character. I recommend anybody who starts. I do recommend Baraka for anybody who just started playing MK11. I think he's very easy to play. I think he'll definitely teach you about strike throw, auto shimmy. Yeah, his auto shimmy is really strong too. So yeah, I think he's just a solid character. So Cassie, my girl Cassie, I'm seeing a lot of people do put her at S, and I kind of don't disagree with that, but this is just my tier list. So I do think she is a contender for S, but she's gonna be at the low. If this was an ordered tier list, she's at the lower end of F. I'm putting her S minus. Just a very solid character. I don't know too much about the Sups OD variation. I don't know what really. Maybe just off of that variation, I don't really know too much about it. Maybe off of that variation, she could be S tier for sure. But I haven't really seen it, and it doesn't really look that threatening to me. Maybe I just haven't fought any really good Cassies like that. But this character has a lot of good buttons. Her back 2 is amazing, 11 frame mid. Her forward 4, 9 frame mid. That could go is a mid overhead. So people still get caught by that overhead so easily online. Digital Soldier has the combos with the kneecapping. It's also a good anti-zoning and zoning tool. In the corner, Cassie's really a beast in Digital Soldier and Yas Queen. Yas Queen allows her to get unbreakable damage, and just really good corner pressure. And she gets insane damage in the corner with Digital Soldier. She could just be downright oppressive. Just amazing buttons. Her biggest weakness really is, I guess, her poke game. She can't poke like how you would poke with like someone like Kung Lao or Garrus. She can't poke like that, but she makes up for it for the mids. Really, she really does. And her shimmy game, fantastic strike throw game. The only thing that keeps that in check, I guess, is that she has no throw crushing blow, and that both of her throws send her away. But with her kneecapping ability and her regular projectile, it's great. Her back 3 is a really solid anti-air. I think you really can't go wrong with Cassie Cage. You could definitely make an argument for her being S. Honestly, maybe we'll revisit this, but she could definitely be S tier contender. But I think for now, S minus is, it's not too far away from S. Just wait and see to how I fill out the rest of the tier list. So Cetrion, you could definitely make an argument for her being number 1. I personally think she's number 2 in the game. This character is stupid. Like I've said, a zoning character should not have a teleport whatsoever. I don't care if it costs all bars. She shouldn't have a teleport, period. It's literally meant for the purpose of running away. That's it. Her zoning is oppressive. Full screen frame traps, boulder, the air projectiles are so strong in this game. The air laser beam move, that's like Superman. I think, that boulder move is probably the best special move in the game. She could just throw that out in the neutral. That's like a big fuck neutral move. She can just do whatever she wants. And on top of that, I see a lot of people still kind of downplay how good she is up close. Cetrion is damn good up close. She's not like Liu Kang good, but all of her strings are safe. All of her strings have pushback, which make it very difficult to deal with her. So it puts her in the perfect range to go for her boulder, so you don't even want to advance on her. What else? She has a string that she can get plus frames off of. That's another problem with this character. She can get plus frames. Great stagger game. You don't want to jump in onto this character because she'll anti-air you. In a game with bad anti-airs, to say that Cetrion has pretty good anti-airs means a lot. So yeah, she's S for sure. She shuts down so many playstyles in MK11, it's not even funny. The only person I think who really beats Cetrion could be probably like Scorpion Jade. Other characters can contend with her. I guess like Outtake Johnny can contend with her in the zoning war. Shaman can contend with her because he could get in. But I wouldn't say it beats Cetrion. Like I would even say upgraded beats Cetrion. Like Cetrion can definitely deal with Jackie upgraded for sure. She, like, honestly, if you're fighting this character, you better have at least like 2 or 3 characters in your arsenal because you might need to counter pick against Cetrion. She just shuts down so many different playstyles in this game, and she's fantastic online. So next, Devorah. Devorah, strong character, solid character. I still think her best variation is Arachnophobia. She gets a ton of damage in that variation. I think that's a big deal to me. The crushing blow off of down forward 2 is amazing. She has decent plus frames. She has like a really good like poke and just stagger game that throws people off. Like if you keep your opponent at mid range, she could just be downright annoying and obnoxious. I think the Caputo Rush, the Overpotter Rush, that move is very good, amplified, good for chipping people out, good for stealing your turn back. Her jump 1 is disgusting, probably the best jump attack in the game. You could actually corner pressure people with her jump 1, make them not want to jump out of the corner. But then when they do jump, you could just anti-air them with your down 2 or your down forward 2. She has restand as well, which sets up for her crushing blows and her more devastating attacks. The teleport move is pretty good too. It's pretty good on reaction to projectiles as well. So she's just a solid character. I think the biggest thing about her is that that keeps her like in this tier is that the best characters in the game kind of do give her a run for her money. But I think she does pretty well against certain characters. She could really shut down people. The Buzz variation sets up a lot of setups and dirty stuff, but it's kind of hard to just set that all up. You know, she's definitely a skill-based character, but she's pretty decent. She's strong. You could definitely win with her, but you know, you gotta put in. She's not easy. She's not like Jackie. Certainly not Cassie. No Scorpion. So she takes some time, but she's just solid. Definitely solid. Aaron, I'm putting him S-. If you had asked me, I always felt like Aaron was kind of like right here, even with like the nerfs. So Aaron's just a solid character, just a really, really solid character. It's kind of crazy how he probably is the most nerfed character in the game because he had everything when the game first came out. He was easily, I would say, #1 in the game, but now he's sort of like he's more in check, but he's still strong. Really good mix-up game online. The locked and loaded variation is just really obnoxious. Scud shot, while it is nerfed, still is just a great anti-zoning tool. Really good damage, great setups, really good strike throw game. He could kind of just say fuck neutral too with his drop kick and the slide. That still catches people online for sure. But yeah, the forward 4 drop kick is still like one of the biggest fuck neutral moves in the game, and it does become a mind game off of it. This character also naturally just whiffs shit. I've noticed in that fighting Aaron players too. Aaron just naturally whiffs attacks sometimes. His hitboxes are sort of weird. So yeah, he's S- for sure. I would say probably top 10 in this game. He has a lot of winning matchups. Like he has a lot of answers to a lot of the casts in this game. He has a lot of tools. His poke game is insane as well. I think that's one of the biggest strengths about him is that up close, it's just really annoying to deal with his pokes, because his pokes jail into his mids, his pokes jail into his highs as well, and like locked and loaded, he could poke and do into like that overhead. I don't know if it's an overhead specifically, but like that move where he smacks you with the gun and pours the acid on your head, that is a poke mind game as well. Yeah, his pokes are just very dangerous, and they can be hard to whiff as well. So yeah, Aaron, with the buffs, the couple like small buffs that he got, then yeah, he's very solid. They're definitely very solid in this game. Frost, shoot, it's kind of hard to really say, but it really is. Just thinking about in comparison to other characters, I'm gonna put her A+. Frost is really strong. The best buff she's ever gotten was the buff to her back one and her down one, because you could actually play neutral with her. If she never got these buffs, she still would have been bottom 3, really. But Arctic Anarchy is probably the best variation. I think it is the best variation. She could just stay very safe, and her strike throw game with the what do you call it, the core overload move is pretty good. Landing the core overload stuff like to freeze the opponent is very, very difficult to do, but when you do get it, it does like frustrate the opponent. Also, it's plus on block, I believe. But her 11 frame mid just does wonders for her. The auger drill move can keep things very safe. It's a very good combo ability. Her counter zoning with the dive bomb is very good. The mortar attacks, like her down back 2 projectiles, are pretty good as well. They're very, very good against characters that can't really get in very well. Characters like Jax, characters like, I would even say, Baraka, like first variation Sindel. Like, it's very good against characters that kind of need to be in at a certain range. Yeah, she could just really stay safe. The only reason I put her A+ is for a couple things. Like I said, the top tiers kind of do violate her. Any character with heavy rushdown kind of ODs on her, because she does have slow buttons overall, because she kind of has to depend on her back one a lot. Her poke game is not the strongest, even though her down one has been improved. Her poke is 8 frames. While it does jail into her stand 2-2, you just got to get it out. Her back 2 slow, but has a lot of range, but her back 2 does have its flawless blockable. Her stand 1 is super stubby, and for a stubby move to only be 7 frames, I think they should at least make it 6 frames. Maybe it is. I think it is actually 7 frames. For it to be that stubby, it's really a little bit disappointing. Her anti-airs are really strong with her down 3. I do anti-air sometimes people with her stand 1, but yeah, I think heavy rushdown really bothers her. I would even say in her other variations, Frostbite variation really isn't that good. I think it's a very gimmicky variation. You really don't have to respect a lot, because her buttons aren't that good that you have to respect it. Ice Machine, wait, sorry. No, another thing with Frost is that I think characters who just have strong projectiles, so Johnny can contend with Frost if she's not using Arctic Anarchy. Like, if you're using Ice Machine against Outtake Johnny, or even Showstopper like Liu Kang, she can get outzoned by them, because the startup of her projectiles are so fast. She kind of has to predict when you're going to throw a projectile and like be proactive with it. So she can get outzoned by, you know, Liu Kang because of his low fireball and stuff like that. So she's a solid character, just not one of the strongest. My man Garrus, another one of the most nerfed characters in this game, but they can't really do much about it. About him, his kit is just so good. Garrus to me is definitely S. Probably more the lower end of S, but we're not ordering this tier list anyways. But Eternal is really good. He has 3 amazing variations. You can't go wrong with any a variation that you go with this character. And the changes, he has a very good armor break too. The Sand Trap is a very good armor break, and he just has multiple ways that he can load that up too. He can use that at the end of a combo. He can just use that to get in. It's a anti-zoning move. It's a zoning tool. Like Sand Trap is one of the best special moves in the game. Fast mid, 6-frame proc. You could get Oki off of both his forward throw and back throw. He is insane. And oh yeah, his combo damage. He also has the ability to get pretty good guaranteed unbreakable damage as well. In addition to that, I still think he has one of the best fatal blows in the game. Very long ranging fatal blow. Very difficult to punish at certain ranges too. Yeah, he's just an insane character really. So yeah, I haven't seen a lot of people drop Garrus, so he's still up there. He definitely is. And you know the misses. I would love to put Jade up here and just shit on her, but I have to be objective. Jade is A+. If we were doing a strictly online tier list, she'd be up here because she gets away with murder online. But she's strong. This character has a lot of tools. Just has a lot of tools. She's an absolute pest. Her down 2 and her down 4 are like her best buttons. Her down 4 is oppressive as fuck. It has a big range. It pushes you away. It pretty much allows her to get a free projectile on her. Her down 2 is so fast. The best down 2 in the game. It has like such a big hitbox as well. It hits like kind of behind her. She could just kind of just throw it out willy-nilly and it would work in her favor. She's a zoning character that you can't zone back because of her absorption field. Her absorption field virtually stacks on top of each other. She could just not play neutral as well because her nitro kick is godlike. It has a mind game on it too. You can work on the timing to punish it, but online it's gonna be it's online. It's hard to deal with. The nitro kick is also arguably the best armor break move in the game as well. She can legit get a down 2 crushing blow, and you try to break away from that and hits you with the nitro kick. Those two moves do like 45%, and it's not hard to do at all. So if Jade just hits you with like, let's say Jade hits you with like her silly crushing blow that sometimes could just catch people by off guard, like her 1-2-4 crushing blow, and she launches you, you try to break away, she hits nitro kick, she does like half your life gone, and then she can just zone you out, and she gets plus frames off of her projectiles, which is insane. But the only reason she's here is because her buttons don't really lead into anything like damage wise when she hits you, so she does have to hit you multiple times, but she's gonna hit you multiple times with projectiles. And I would say like, yeah, the top tiers kind of do beat her very well. So she's really annoying online, y'all, but I have to be objective. She just has a lot of tools. The thing is, you have to know the matchup, and you have to know how to use your character against Jade specifically to beat her. But other than that, she is an absolute pest online. Don't let anybody downplay this character. She's strong, but she's definitely around like the upper mid tier in this game. Jax. So I'm gonna put Jax S-. I kind of want to put him S, but the thing with Jax, he is a momentum-based character. He has to just get going. Really, he really just has to just get the ball going. But when he gets the ball going, he's just terrifying. Amazing crushing blows that are very practical. Really good strike throw game. Pretty much unreactable mix. Insanely fast buttons. Just a lot of tools too. From full screen, he kind of is a guessing game because of that unblockable grab, and then you could go for the mid version of it, and it will hit you if you're neutral ducking. Fatal blow is insane, absolutely insane still, even though it is a high. I can't believe that thing was a mid before. But yeah, when he gets his gloves heated up, he just can steamroll you. Just really fast buttons, really good stagger game, really good strike throw game, and in the corner he could be really, really oppressive, and you could really just mash with this character. You could really just be disrespectful with him. And yeah, the best thing about Jax, you really just have to play patient against him and kind of play a character that has equally fast buttons as Jax. I think that's the best way to like really deal with him. Or play a heavy zoning character like Jade or Cetrion. So that's the best thing to deal with Jax. He's really, really strong. And Johnny. Now, I've been kind of thinking about this as well. I think I'm gonna put Johnny S minus. Pre-patch, before this aftermath patch, he was definitely S for sure. But Johnny has 2 really solid variations. I think Showstopper is the best just because of the damage potential, the unbreakable damage potential. But the nerf to his plus frames did overall affect him greatly. Not greatly, but they did affect him. You can't really get away with as much with Johnny before. You have to play neutral with Johnny to make him really effective. Being +6 off of 1, 2, 4 and 3, 4 up 3 was pretty stupid. I don't think they should have really touched the plus frame on the force balls, but it is what it is. Yeah, it's just really the plus frames that knocked him. He's virtually the same. Outtake is still really good zoning. The only really bad thing about Johnny is that he doesn't have good mids to deal with to use. So he gets mashed on pretty easily. A lot of his shit is highs, and you really have to like space out your opponent. I think Johnny really just loses to people that kind of don't have to play in his range. So, and just heavy zoners. So Cetrion, I would say Cetrion I would say it's kind of even against outtake, but like Jade is just a really, like, just for example, Jade is just a really bad matchup for him. Jade doesn't have to play his game at all, and she could just mash on him because all this stuff is a high, so you could just down to him all day. But yeah, Johnny I think can out footsie some footsie characters. Anti-air game is still really solid, gets pretty decent damage. His armor break isn't that great, unfortunately, but yeah, S minus I think is where Johnny is still very strong, but not the character exactly that he once was. Cabal, I kind of want to put him S minus, but I think just looking at it is A plus. So I know a lot of people love saying that this character is like S minus or S tier, but you have to play Cabal to understand where his fault lies, and I think his faults really lie that he actually is a stiff character. His moves don't really, he has long ranging mids, but his moves don't really advance forward, so he is whiff punishable. So you really have to understand neutral and footsie games with Cabal. His air projectile is really good, but he does get zoned out by other characters pretty badly. The fact that he doesn't have a very good like reversal, like fast reversal move is kind of does affect him as well. But his damage is really solid. He's a good anti-air game, very good mids. His projectile game is not bad, but it's just decent in my opinion. Really good crushing blows, really great damage. I think the spins is the best variation right now, honestly. It's also the most fun in my opinion, but he's just a really solid character. Just a really solid character. All of his strings are safe and no flawless blockable gaps, but I think he really just struggles against I think he really struggles against like the higher top tier characters, but he also just struggles against like heavy zoning. So that's why I think Cabal is just a solid like upper mid tier character. Kano, can't really say too much about him other than I think he's good. Like, he's a really obnoxious character online. Kano players love to master him. Dirtbag Kano is insane. Down 1 into acid is really strong. He could just get really good damage really quickly, and it's unbreakable. A lot of it is unbreakable. He has a decent he gets pretty decent damage now. Off of it, I think one of his moves were special cancelable. I think he has this move that's armor breakable, but it restands you too, so I think that's pretty strong. But he's not really like destroying you. He a lot of things that Kanos do, they get away with. Like, a lot of Kanos like to do back 3 and pretend like that move is plus when it's really just minus. So just as long as you take your turn back and you know how to take your turn back after he does his back 3, I think that's the move where he crushing blows you with his knife boot. As long as you know how to take your turn back against him, you can definitely deal with him. His strike throw game is pretty good as well. I think he gets Oki off his back throw. Well, he can kind of just say fuck neutral with Kano Ball, but once you learn how to punish that consistently, you can stop Kano players. Well, it's about him is really really annoying. His fatal blow is, I know a lot of what else? Oh yeah, the acid. You can, a lot of characters can kind of like walk back when he does that and punish him. So that's another thing that you can use against Kano players to beat him. Like Cassie can do it, Jackie can do it. I think Katana can do it as well. So that's something you gotta really utilize against Kano. That his down one acid, you can punish it. Katana. Oh brother. Katana. I'm putting Katana S-, y'all. I know some people think she's A+. I think this character is kind of downplayed. I think she's very strong, especially online. Her zoning is serious. Her zoning is serious. It's not Cetrion, it's not Shang Tsung, it's not Jade zoning, but her zoning is very, very, very annoying. I think the change to making her second part of her amplified forward projectile was a very good change to improve her. I think her combo damage was increased in a patch before that. Highborn is still a nutty variation. You could kind of just disrespect everything. Everything is just safe. It's very hard to punish her. Her jump kick is insane. She has a really good stagger game. I don't think her stagger game is talked about a lot. Her stagger game is pretty good. You could get away with quite a few things with this character and just remain just very safe. And because her stagger game is good, it makes her throw game pretty good as well. She's very solid. Her armor break is pretty good too. I think that's the hip attack where she throws her ass at you. That's a pretty good crushing blow as well. And yeah, in the corners with Highborn, she could just really pressure you and just really be obnoxious. Katana is strong. I think like the Katana fans would say buff Katana, do this to her, do that to her. Don't listen to them, y'all. They just want this character to play like how she does in MKX. You just have to play really lame with her now. But they don't have any problems playing with her lame with her like before. But yeah, she's really strong. The only thing, if she did any more combo damage, she would probably be S tier, in my opinion. I think she's just a very overall solid character, and on top of that, she has the female hitbox. So there you go. Collector. I don't think he really has changed that much. I think his armor break is pretty good too. I think that's the most like notable thing about him. But yeah, he has pretty good mids, pretty good staggers as well. He can kind of just say fuck neutral as well with his teleport. What else can he do? He has like a really good Pokemon game with one of the rush maneuvers, even though it's punishable. But having that in this game and reacting to things like that, the poking the special move mind game with some characters is very difficult to deal with online. He has like the command grab as well, which I think you have to jump to deal with it. Correct me if I'm wrong. You might have to jump to deal with it. I don't think it's a, and it, you know, even if it isn't a mid command grab, it's still really good because he has safe strings that he can stagger. That increases that strike throw mind game on top of a command grab that you have to react with. Decent counter zoning as well. In addition to that, a lot of his strings have good range, but he doesn't give up his own hitbox. So he's very good at whiff punishing, and it's very difficult to answer back to those strings because he can virtually throw out another move, and he can land a counter hit for it as well. And his crushing blows pretty solid too. So yeah, and also on top of that, very solid unbreakable damage, which I think is very strong in this game because breakaway is still a problem, on top of having a pretty decent armor break. So collector virtually is the same. I think he's just, a lot of people just you don't see him too much because of I just think because people don't like how he looks, that's why. If he looked, let's say if he looked like if Collector had the moveset, had like the skin of like a classic MK character, but like the same exact moveset, you'd see him online all day because this character has a lot of tools and they're very strong. Kodokan, I think Kodokan is a top 10 contender in this game. Safe strings, relatively safe strings, great stagger, insane wave dash, probably the best wave dash in the game. His armor break is really good too. That's a really strong armor break. The fact that you kind of have to guess on whether he's gonna launch you or is he gonna do a command grab or is he gonna do like a regular knockdown move is pretty good. I think that's like a three-way mix as well. Online, he's very, very good too because he just has a lot of tools that he can just keep in his back pocket and pull it out in crucial moments of the match, and you might not be ready for it. You kind of have to understand how your opponent plays Kodokan to deal with him, because he has like the command grab, he has the that shield spin maneuver that he could just pretty much be safe on block to just pretty much reset neutral. What else does he do? He has like that unblockable, which is easy to deal with, but you know, online he can use it to create some really dirty Oki situations that pretty much make it guaranteed, and his strike throw is pretty good. In addition to that, his a lot of his strings just have a lot of pushback, and they kind of just put you into position of his mids. And lastly, his mids are deadly. Even though they're slow, they're damn near full screen. You kind of don't want to whiff on Kodokan. Like, if you whiff on him, he's going to catch you with those mids, and they could easily be converted into big damage. The fact that you can also change the direction of his command grab, put you in the corner, amplify it, it gives him a damage buff as well, is just really, really solid. So he's a really strong character overall. I think he's probably had the best turnaround in this game. I think he's in a really solid spot. I remember when Kodokan was like really, really low tier in this game. I think he's in a very solid state in this game. He's definitely the glow up character of MK11. Kronika is best character in the game. But Kung Lao, oh man, I remember before Aftermath, I would have said this character was bottom 5. I know a lot of people said that he was still like top. I think he's probably S- now. The dive kick is a really, really good armor break. I think it's one of the best armor breaking moves in the game. You kind of don't want to break away on Kung Lao because of that, and it's so easy for him to get that. It's also a big fuck neutral move. I think one of the reason why he's S- now is because the fact that they made one of his strings just safe. Now, I think one of the strings that he could just play neutral with better now. So I think that just makes him S-. I think I forget which one. One of the variations, he could just steal turns so easily. Like, the minute this character goes for a poke, it's already a mix-up because he can go for that hat maneuver and just keep himself safe. And if you dare press a button, he can convert off of it and get damage. And pretty good damage. It's not like 30%. It's like pretty good, like 25% that you don't want just for trying to press a button. Like, it's insane now. Strike throw game is still amazing. And yeah, that's Kung Lao is in a good position in this game. He's still really strong, but those changes so that he can play neutral better, and the armor break, so he has to answer to deal with breakaway, made him definitely a lot stronger in this game. So yeah, Kung Lao is certainly S-. Liu Kang, most definitely S. Most definitely S. Top 5 character in the game for sure. Definitely a top 5. There's really not much to say about him. I think one of the patch allowed him, his 1-2 is not plus anymore, but who cares, bro? Still 11 frame mid, still got a 9 frame mid, still have some of the best projectiles in the game. Flying kick is a very great reversal. Very good strike throw game, mind game mix up. Pretty much guaranteed damage off of any touch. He doesn't need to go for big damage, go for launchers at all. Bicycle kick is one of the best crushing blows in the game because, first of all, just amplifying it gives him guaranteed damage and it gives him guaranteed Oki. And strike throw game is amazing. Also, arguably the easiest character to use in the game. So there's really no downplaying Liu Kang. 3 very viable variations too. But yeah, he's just a really, really strong, solid character. The only thing he's really missing is an answer to breakaway, but if he did, that'd just only make him stronger. He doesn't necessarily need it. All the characters need a better answer to breakaway, but that's not really messing up his standing in the game at all. Now my man Nightwolf. So I'm gonna put him S-. I think Nightwolf is a contender for a top 10 in the game. The tier list isn't ordered, so it doesn't matter where I place him. So the patch to Shaman. The patch to Shaman really, before I would have said Nightwolf was A+, but the patch to Shaman really changed his character around overall. So I think Shaman overall gets more damage for a bar than Motoko Warrior. The lightning arrow is a very big threat, and it makes the cancels a threat because it's a mid and it causes knockdown, causes really good damage too. Overhead can be made completely safe. Tremendous strike throw game, one of the best auto shimmies in the game off of the stand 1. Down 3 is an amazing button, jails into his stand 1, and because people are expecting you to do your stand 1, they're gonna start respecting it. You can start utilizing your throw game, and he has a throw crushing blow forward and backward. The Spirit Tracks is a very good maneuver to get in on the opponent. A lot of people don't block it online, and it has like some of the weirdest block stun online, so it's very difficult to punish sometimes, even though it is punishable. A lot of people have gotten better at punishing it now, but boy, when it first came out, you were just getting away with that move for free. But because of his Spirit Tracks, it allows him to have mix-ups off a lot of moves, like his stand 3-1, which was pretty much a useless string in any other variation. But yeah, stand 3-1, you can go into Spirit Tracks because the last part is the overhead, which makes that crushing blow very practical now. What else does he do? He has very good Oki as well off of his combos. And yeah, Nightwolf is very strong. He's an amazing character online because a lot of people are not blocking his mix. Even though some of it, I would say offline, it's mostly gimmicky, but I would still say it's still like kind of a guessing game really against Shaman. Motoko Warrior is still solid. He could just say fuck neutral with Rhino Charge. He kind of do the same thing with Spirit Tracks. Spirit Arrow is still very good because they amplify. The second part is the mid. Spirit Arrow is just very good too because it's fast. And in the corner, he gets pretty good damage. He gets pretty good damage in both variations, honestly. Nightwolf is a very solid character in Aftermath. MK11 Aftermath, it's just has been very good to Nightwolf. So you can't go wrong with him at all. I think he's super strong online, and I would say offline too. Noob Saibot is S- just off the strength of seeing double. He can just stay safe. He's a very strong mid-range zoner. His forward 2 string, that whole string, forward 2-2-1-2, one of the most easily hit confirmable strings in the game, but he can also maintain safety just by staggering it randomly. His mid isn't that great, but it's alright. His back 2, now that his armor break, makes his pitch back variation pretty strong now, because you could get pretty good damage converting off of that move, because you can special cancel it into sickle snag. But seeing double is the way to go. You could just stay safe off of everything. You can kind of just say fuck neutral with the what do you call it? You could kind of just say fuck neutral with, you could kind of do it with the teleport sometimes, but the teleport is very easily punishable. It's also one of the more reactable teleports in the game. Jump kick is amazing. His down 4 is an amazing anti-air. It's an amazing button to use on block as well. Yeah, forward and back throw crushing blow. Fatal blow, still pretty good because it hits full screen. It tracks the opponent, and it's kind of hard to punish it even at mid range. So yeah, seeing double Noob Saibot. Oh, also in the corner, tremendous damage in the corner with that variation. So yeah, seeing double, safety, and just really obnoxious zoning. So yeah, really strong character Noob Saibot is. My man Raiden. Oh man, I don't know. This one is hard. I don't know where to really put him, but he's certainly not A anymore. He definitely isn't A. I think I'm gonna put him A+, but I do feel like I might be downplaying him a bit. You could definitely make a good argument for him being S, but pretty much the change to making forward 1-2 the grab part of that move, the last part of it, a true grab, was very good. And he is kind of like a three-way mix off of his forward 1 now, because he could go forward 1-2 lightning bolts forward. He could just do forward 1-2, even though it is -8. -8, you're not punishing that online. He could go into the storm cell, so if you're neutral ducking expecting the grab, you're gonna get hit by the storm cell, you're gonna get comboed. In addition to that, he could just go for the grab as well. So he has like a decent like 4-way mix right now off of his forward 1 string. His teleport is still pretty fast. That's another really good thing. Yeah, I think Raiden's in a decent position right now. I still think they should make some of his strings just like, you know, safer, but he's in a decent position right now in MK11 just off of that. I think Raiden is pretty good right now. I think he's pretty solid. I've seen a lot more Raiden players too, and I think they've definitely caught on to like Raiden is not bottom 3 or bottom 1 like how he was before. You could have made an argument for him being bottom 1. So my man Scorpion is A+, still a solid mid-tier character, probably the best anti-zoner in the game because of the teleport. But I mean, what else? Nothing really much has changed about him. I think the overhead made him a bit stronger. He definitely is in a better place pre-patch. The overhead is like virtually unreactable now, especially online. It definitely throws people off. He just has a lot of tools. His down 4 is really good. His poke game is really good. His throw game is really good. The stagger game is really good. Oh yeah, the fact that he got a crushing blow off his back throw now is pretty damn good too. So that increased his placing on the tier list for sure. But it's not enough to put him S-. He certainly is an S-. But if I had to order this, he'd be more closer up to A+. But yeah, he's very strong. He's very strong. Still the same old Scorpion though. Shang Tsung. Oh man, it's so hard to really say, but you could definitely make an argument for Shang Tsung being S in this game. But for now, I'm gonna put him S-. But let it be known, if I had to order this, he'd be like the first character in S-. So, Shang Tsung, the change to the flawless blocking in MK11, because of that, it makes his forward 2 string just like a mix now. So, it's either you're gonna eat a plus frame, or you're gonna get crushing blowed off the string, or if you even manage to block it, it's just safe. And godlike buttons, definitely godlike buttons. Forward 2 is amazing. His down 3 is amazing. His back 3 is amazing. Low profiling ass. His shimmy game is really underrated. His stand 1-1 is really freaking strong. Really freaking strong, which makes his strike throw game pretty good as well. Corner game is pretty good because of the forward 2 string, because he can go for plus frames and that will jail into like his back 3. What else? I think easily top 3 zoners, probably top 2 zoners in this game. His zoning is oppressive and obnoxious. So many tools. Corpse drop and ground eruption are one of the best special moves in the game. Very hard for a lot of the cast to punish it. And it's a combo starter, and it's also very good at anti-airing people. Corpse drop is very solid, very non-traditional projectile that hits overhead, so you're gonna have to stand up against him, and then combining that with the regular projectile that you have to duck, that is pretty scary. So it's kind of like a full screen guessing game on zoning. You can react, but you know, online it's harder to fight against that stuff. He gets a lot of plus frames up close from 1-1-2, and that's pretty strong because of his stagger game. 112 because plus also jails into Soul Steel. I'm gonna get to that move in a second. What else is really good about him? Ermac is kind of stupid as well. The hitbox on Ermac is godlike. The crushing blow is very practical too because just the hitbox on it. You'll be surprised how doing random Ermac soul lifts are so effective with Shang Tsung. The only really thing keeping him in check is that his damage isn't extremely high. If his damage was like how it was when he first came out, I would say he could be top 3. Like, he's that good. Seriously, I'm very, very glad that NRS caught on to like this character shouldn't be doing that much damage. I know a lot of people still think that they should probably buff his damage in what do you call it, the ninja variation. If his damage was any higher, this character would be busted because his tools are insane. And for Soul Steel, the Soul Steel ability, the fact that he increases his damage, it's a pretty good knockdown, and it does pretty good damage as a combo ender. He increases his damage, so if you just know 1B and D and you know how to play neutral with the entire cast, you can pretty much, he's like a good counter pick to most characters, honestly. And like I said, a lot of characters can't deal with his down 4 into like ground eruption and stuff like that. I don't know why a lot of Shang Tsung players don't use his Soul Steel. I think that's a very underutilized move. Just let me know for any of you Shang Tsung players, why don't you use Soul Steel a lot? Because I think this character is not really actualized to his potential. I think when we see him use his potential, he could definitely make an argument for him being top 3 even without a damage buff. Like, Shang Tsung is ridiculous in MK11, absolutely ridiculous. He's super good online too. Jump kicks are insane. You can kind of just play absolutely nutty and disgusting with him and you can get away with shit. So yeah, Shang is pretty stupid. Shao Khan, I've seen a lot of people put him A, but I think that's a bit too low for him, honestly. Just because I think the forward 3 string is still pretty good. Yes, the forward 3-4 is flawless blockable, but online, nobody's really messing with that. Really good strike throw game still. Best armor breaks in the game, free. Yeah, the fact that they made forward 3-4 special cancel just opened a lot more combo potential for him, and then combining that with the armor break stuff makes him really good. But if his forward 4-3 wasn't flawless blockable, you could make an argument for him being S, honestly, S minus. But yeah, he's still really good. Shao Kahn is in a good position in this game. But yeah, if his forward 3-4 wasn't flawless blockable, then if it wasn't for that, he'd be much higher. But he's still really strong. The game Aftermath was definitely kind to Shao Kahn for sure. Scarlett, yeah, Scarlett, a contender for the worst character in the game. And it's not that she's bad. Actually, let me zoom out a little bit. I might actually zoom out. So definitely a contender for worst character, and it's literally just because of her flawless blockable gaps. However, I do strongly think if we start closing up Scarlett's gaps, she's easily going to be S minus, because all of her strings are safe and her zoning is still pretty oppressive. It's not ridiculously oppressive, but her zoning could definitely be obnoxious because she has the tongue is a very good non-traditional projectile attack. Hemorrhage, I don't know if that move is like unblockable or is it like a command grab sort of thing. That move is kind of insane. She just sucks the life out of you for that. Gets a really good knockdown. Decent stagger game. The change to her making her stand for a high mid, not amazing, not life altering, but definitely made her a bit better. Her buffs were okay. The change to making the overhead do more damage on crush was a good change, but nothing that's going to change her drastically. But The only thing holding her back really is just the gaps in her strings. That's literally the only thing holding her back. Other than that, she's still a very strong character. You will lose to Scarlett online if you don't play the match pretty well. But just know if you do lose to Scarlett, you kind of did get outplayed. But it's just very frustrating to deal with her. She's certainly a very annoying character to deal with. But she's not OP. She's not that strong. I think she's kind of like, honestly, I've said this before, I feel like she's kind of like the blueprint of what a zoning character kind of should be. Just clear weaknesses that you could just exploit for, like, really. And, like, the zoning, not doing tremendous chip damage. It's just doing you kind of have to layer your projectiles with Scarlett to make her zoning effective. But it definitely is oppressive, for sure. Now, what I'm about to do is very controversial, but fuck it, it's my tier list. This is how I feel. No, she is not S-. I think she is S. Like I've said, ridiculous damage. Ridiculous damage. Non-meter damage. She doesn't have to spend a bar for it. Ridiculous zoning. And because a crushing blow is attached to it, it makes it even scarier. The sentry gun drop, the overhead projectile, really good. So that becomes a mix, kind of like a full screen mix mind game online. The only thing bad about Sonya is that she doesn't have oppressive mids, but it's not like she doesn't have any mids at all to use. But pretty much the only reason I feel like she doesn't get the credit she deserves is just because you have to learn new combos with her, and she doesn't have any mids. But then again, Johnny doesn't have any mids, but everybody says that he's really strong. So I don't know, y'all. I think Sonya is super strong. Her crushing blows do a lot of damage. And yeah, she's a zoning character that can mix you to shreds, and 2 touches, you're dead. And in the corner, forget about it. The 50-50 mix is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I think literally the only thing she's lacking is just mids. That's it. She's S for sure. Easily. They really did not change Sonya that much for everybody to be saying that she's less than that, in my opinion. So I think she's certainly S. Sub-Zero, like, if this was online, I would put him number 1. But he's A+. His armor break is decent. It's not very practical, but he's virtually unchanged, really. Online, unreactable mix, really. Do not react to his mix online. His back 3, while he doesn't have like a really good mid, his back 3 is essentially his mid. Shimmy game is really strong as well. Stand 1-2 is like a really good. His down 4 is really good. Ice Slide is like a big fuck neutral tool. You can't really zone out Sub-Zero, because if you try to zone him out and you take that Ice Ball trade, it's always in his favor, because he can pretty much get up off the ground, dash up to you, and get a combo. Unbreakable damage as well. Not too high, but strike throw game is pretty good too. So Sub-Zero, still doing his Sub-Zero thing. If this was a strictly online tier list, I would put him S for free, but this is not, so I have to be a little bit more objective and fair about that. And Terminator, oh, this one is hard too. This one is hard. I think Terminator is pretty friggin' stupid, but kind of like Jax, he's a momentum character, so I'm gonna put him S-. You could definitely make a good argument for him S. I think I had him S last tier list, but it really is just about the momentum, really. If he gets in, the mix is dirty. Like, it's not even 50-50 mix. It's like 25-25-25 mix. It's really like 20. Yeah, it really is. He has so many options that he can go for. If he hits the stand 1 into the shotgun, the double barrel shotgun amplified, he can go for a throw. He can go for the overhead. He can go for a forward 3. He can go for his stand 1 again. He can go for the command grab. He can go for his back 3 mid. He can go for a lot of things off of that. And Dark Fate, just going into that command grab move again, he can just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. If his damage was any higher, like consistently, then he'd be, I think he'd be S. But I think his damage is perfect the way it should be. Any higher, this character would be absolutely busted and broken. But online, if you've been mixed by Terminator online, you understand what it is. It's just a straight up guessing game. It feels like you're not even getting outplayed. But yeah, he's absolutely insane. This character is strong as fuck. Cindy's A+. If this was ordered, she'd be higher end of A+. Her mix online is very good. Very good. I think her best variation is Royal Adenian. She has pretty cheap mix off of it, but it doesn't do a lot of damage. Most brain dead string in the game, forward 4 up 3 is the most brain dead string in the game, and it creates a really solid strike throw game, which is strong for Sindel because she has crushing blows forward and backward, so that's very strong against her. Her zoning in that variation is pretty good too. Probably the biggest fuck neutral move in the game is the scream, and she gets really insane damage off of it. Sindel's in a very good place at MK11. What is it? The splitting hair variation, very big damage, and you can really just mix people up with that variation. But it's mostly like online mix. Offline, it's really not that real. It's definitely reactable, but something about overheads in fighting games, and specifically MK11, that gives people a lot of problems, myself included. So I think she's in a very solid spot. You really can't go wrong with her. I feel like I'm missing certain things. Yeah, the biggest weakness about Sindel, I think heavy zoning kind of messes her up if you're playing splitting hairs, and also characters that have extreme rushdowns, because her pokes aren't that strong at all. But when she does land a touch, she at least like just deletes your health bar. So Joker S, easily S. You can make a definitely a top 3, possibly top 2 in this game. Super strong character. Ace of Knaves, in my opinion, is one of the best variations in the game. Bird Boy Beatdown is just such a great move to have, and the Jack in the Box mind game mix is ridiculous. And it's not even things like that. It's not even the setups that make him unfair. It's really the fact that the CCDD move, the Jack in the Box move, his back forward 4, after every string he can do that, and he pretty much resets neutral for free. It's literally free spacing, free safety, free reset neutral, and which is very good because you can play neutral extremely well with Joker with his stand 2 that has a ridiculous range and it's pretty damn fast. Forward 2, it's a high overhead. Having a high overhead is very good because it immediately makes people want to stand up. You could throw out your projectile, not the projectile, the Jack in the Box after that. The string is completely safe too. I don't think it's flawless blockable. And once again, overheads in this game are ridiculous. It's very good at staggering it because you could just stagger forward to possibly go for a throw as well. That's like the weakest thing about Joker, is just that his throws aren't that good. I didn't even get to his 11 frame mid yet, and yeah, he has definitely mix-ups off of his 11 frame mid that is pretty damn good. And in the corner, this character is just unfair. He can keep you in the corner all game. His down 4 gives him free spacing. His back forward 4 is free spacing. The fatal blow cancel is insane, which starts up that crushing blow. Yeah, like he doesn't even need to launch you to get consistent damage because he can just go into Bird Boy Beatdown and hit you with setups. Projectile is pretty standard and solid. It's insane. Like his buttons are just really good. Really strong character in this game. I would say not the easiest to use, but at a basic level, I think he's kind of easy to pick up. Like he's just that strong, really. But because his tools are just that good. So yeah, I see Joker. You see Joker in Combat League all the time. We're not gonna not see the end of this character. He's insane. Spawn is like a mid tier in this game for sure. The best thing about Spawn is his damage. That's literally about it. That's literally the best thing about Spawn. And in addition to that, the ability to kind of have buttons that give up, that attack the opponent, but he doesn't give up his hitbox, so he virtually can't get punished for throwing them out. Like his stand 3-4 is godlike. It's -10, but you can't punish it really unless you're like right up on him, or you have like a fast button, a very long ranging fast button, and very few characters have that. His damage is insane for sure. With like 2 touches, like 2.5 touches with Spawn, you're dead in the one variation. From Hell, the one with the machine guns, is arguably one of the worst variations in the game, but it does have some mix. That variation is not good. His armor breaking move, he was the first person to have it in the game. Pretty solid. Definitely you can convert off of it. The restand is really good. He has pretty good staggers off of his back 1. Definitely has a decent shimmy game with his stand 1-1, which is also +2. Crushing blows are pretty good. He definitely gets a very big one in the corner. The 1-1 back 2 crushing blow is probably his best crushing blow. Honestly, you're probably gonna get that like once a game. Really solid crushing blow. But what really messes up Spawn is that he suffers against heavy zoning and big rushdowns. So Jade, Cetrion, Shang Tsung are like really bad against him. I would even say Noob Saibot can mess him up because he could just throw out his clone, and Spawn can like, and Noob Saibot could kind of just be out of the range of like most of Spawn's attacks. And heavy rushdown, so characters with really fast buttons can really just kind of pressure him and just swallow him up. But yeah, his movement is really good. I think that's the trick to getting good with Spawn, is mastering his movement for sure. So that's why I think he's like in a good spot in this game. The health Spawn variation is just safe off of everything, but you know, you don't really get like that much damage. It has the most depth, but you don't get the damage like how you would with the one variation. From Hell, once again, loses out on the Necro Blast. That's probably the #1 reason why I think that variation is the worst, because Necro Blast is such a good projectile. The fact that you can delay it is pretty strong as well, to create that mix-up and stay safe off of virtually most of his strings. But on female characters, he can't really get away with it too much with that mind game, because the first attack always whiffs on female characters. But Spawn's pretty solid. Not that great, but he's in a decent spot in this game. Definitely takes some skill to play. Fujin is an incredibly annoying character to deal with online and offline too. The thing with Fujin is his buttons, and I've said this when I played him too, his buttons are kind of weird and kind of bad, but he can just play, like, his buttons give him a lot of spacing. Even though they are negative, not many people in the cast can punish him, so he kind of just resets neutral after every block string. Forward 3 is one of the best buttons in the game. It low profiles so many attacks. It's very good on getting in, and it causes a good knockdown. A pretty good crushing blow as well. Pretty decent strike throw game as well. His forward 2, back 2 moves are deceptively long range. His projectile game is really insane, and I think it's the Cloud Walker variation, that variation where you can just kind of just jump around all over the place. Yeah, in a game where anti-airs aren't that great, that just makes him extremely solid. And what else with Fujin? Oh yeah, the needle drill move, I think it's his down back 4, that sword spin move. Can pretty much make everything safe. This character is just safety all the time, but when he does confirm into combos, he gets pretty good damage off of them. But if he didn't have variation 2, he'd probably be arguably A. You could make a very good argument for this character being A. If it literally wasn't for Cloud Walker, the other variations are just super gimmicky, honestly. Super gimmicky. not really consistent damage. I guess his armor break is decent, but the fact that he can play such a strong neutral with variation 2 and maintain safety and just really frustrate his opponent in variation 2 just make him S-. So that's why I think Fujin is where he stands on the tier list. And lastly, we're going with Shiva. So Shiva, I would say 3 very solid variations. The overhead string variation, the one with the the one with the air grab, I think that variation is very good because you can just troll with that variation and be obnoxious with it online because of the drag and drop tracks. Doesn't track, but you could place it, so you can pretty much make a educated reaction on wherever your opponent is moving on the screen, and it's kind of difficult to punish it because of that reason. Pretty solid armor break also. It's not amazing, I would say it's just okay. Definitely catches people and it does massive damage. But variation 3 Shiva is definitely the strongest one. Variation 3, the mix-up game off of it is very, very strong. The fact that she can kind of set you up at the end of a game with amplified the low grab where she stabs you and she grabs you by the foot, holds you upside down, punches you and stabs you. She can amplify that, and if you move, you take damage, and then she can set you up with the drop attack. That is pretty good. The mix-up mind game off of that is really good. She has really, really good buttons for Oki and meaties. Her back 1, her back 2, her forward 4. Really, really good buttons. Her strike throw, and that because of that makes her strike throw game very, very well. Her down 1 pretty much jails into her back 1. So it makes her very, very strong. I think she's just a very solid character. Not OP, but Mean Queen Shiva is definitely not to be messed with. She gets very, very good damage in that variation as well. And oh yeah, her projectile is pretty good. The fireball is pretty good, pretty fast, and the amplified version is a mid as well. Shiva, I would say biggest weakness is characters that have really long range. So I would say Joker can give her a run for money off of his moves are pretty long range. Spawn, Cassie, Cabal, characters with really long range because their buttons are just really, really stubby, for sure can give her big problems. So yeah, that's about it. So that is my tier list, y'all. Chronica is on the game. That is my tier list. It is not ordered at all. Give me a few seconds. I'm gonna probably try to order some of it. Some of this. Alright, y'all. I think this is gonna be as ordered as I think I can get it. So take a good look. This is the end of the tier list. This is how I feel about the game. Like I said, everybody I think is pretty balanced in this game. I know people are gonna be gonna question me on Sonya, but I made my case. You can argue in the comment section. I've had a hard time ordering Kodo, Noob, Terminator, Jackson, Katana. I think Kodo is just really good overall, but it's so weird because, like I said, online and offline, this game is so different, and Katana I think is just really solid now. But yeah, I think this is it, guys. So let me know what you guys think about this tier list. Where would you place certain characters? What do you think? Do you think I got it mostly right for the most part? I know everybody's not going to agree with everything, but this is how I view the game. This is where I think everybody falls. You could definitely convince me otherwise. If I probably were to do this on a different day, this tier list might have come out a little bit different. But this is just how I felt at this given time. So let me know what you guys think. Post aftermath patch tier list. We're probably not gonna have a tier list for this game for a very long time. So this is MK11 right now. So let me know what you guys think. Have a great day, y'all. Peace.